Mike Evans left tonight's matchup versus the Detroit Lions with what sources were initially reporting as a concussion and a shoulder injury. It looks like we do have an update on his current status. Sources are now reporting that Evans, in fact, has suffered a broken collarbone and he is due to miss most of the season. So with today's video, what we're going to do is we're going to start off by looking at the injury replay. We're going to examine some of the concussion-based symptoms that he seems to be exhibiting while on the field, as well as talk about the specific anatomy of a clavicle fracture and what to expect moving forward. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my channel. If you're not familiar with me, my name is Nick Gallo and I'm a doctor of physical therapy. And with my channel, I take a look at sports injuries and I try to explain them so that they are a little bit easier to understand. I'll also talk about the relevant anatomy of those injuries as well as the rehab process. If you enjoy this sort of content and you'd like to see more of it, please hit that thumbs up and subscribe to the channel because I will be making more of these videos in the future regarding sports injuries, rehabilitation, and other physical therapy related content. Also, if you have any comments or questions, please leave those in the comment section below. Here on the injury replay, Evans is going to go for the catch. As he is doing this, he is going to rotate his body. The side of his head and his shoulder are going to make impact with the turf. So let's talk about the concussion first. There are three main mechanisms that can lead to a concussion. The first is a direct impact injury, and that is the one that is most applicable for this injury, obviously. Then there is an acceleration-deceleration injury, and then finally there's another one called a blast injury. For the direct impact injury, obviously what is happening here is there is some sort of force that's making contact with the head, and this force is great enough, it's causing some movement of the brain inside of the skull. In the case of the injury tonight, we see that right after the impact, it looks like Evans is lying unconscious on the field. So this can definitely be indicative of a hard enough force that is causing somebody to lose consciousness. After this, when he is trying to walk off of the field, we see that he is noticeably dazed, as well as he is requiring a lot of assistance to walk off of the field. Now let's talk about the shoulder injury. As he makes contact with the turf, that is going to lead to that fracture to the clavicle. The clavicle is this bone right in through here, also referred to as being the collarbone. Any sort of direct impact like that obviously can lead to fracturing of the clavicle, and whether or not surgery is going to be implicated in something like this depends on the placement of the bones after the fracture. If the clavicle is so severely displaced, what is going to happen here is that there are a couple of surgical options. The one that is more common is something known as an open reduction internal fixation, or an ORIF for short. Basically what's going to happen is they're going to be using hardware to stabilize the pieces of the fracture so that it can lead to optimal healing. So we'll wait and see if this injury is severe enough that it's going to require Mike Evans to have surgery for it. But it's also worth noting that the mechanism of injury here can also lead to injuries of the acromioclavicular ligament and or the coracoclavicular ligament. So these can be implicated in this type of injury as well. Typically they are injured with any sort of direct impact. We have not been told whether or not they are involved in this injury, but it is worth noting. The typical healing time for a clavicle fracture is anywhere from about 6 to 8 weeks. So the fact that Todd Bowles has already come out basically said that it's looked like he's going to miss most of the remainder of the season seems to be very accurate. If surgery is implicated, then obviously this timeline gets longer, with it being anywhere from about 10 to 12 weeks. The recovery time for something like this, typically somebody is going to be in a sling and they're going to be immobilized for a period of several weeks depending on the protocol that the person is following. Then when we can fully start working on range of motion, we're going to start with passive range of motion. So the therapist is going to be moving the arm, or maybe it's going to be done also with a set of pulleys so that you are not taxing the muscles that attach to the clavicle itself. Then as the person is progressing and you're approaching those final stages in therapy, you can start to really ramp up strengthening and go through sport-specific movements. So it looks like, unfortunately for Mike Evans and the Bucs, that he is going to be sidelined for a significant period of time, whether he is going to need surgery or not. If I happen to hear any updates, I'll be sure to update everybody in the comment section. But thank you so much for tuning into my video today. If you enjoyed this content, I'm going to go ahead and link one of my playlists so that you can watch some of the videos that I've talked about in the past. Thank you so much again for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.